6 bodies, 1 remote farmhouse, and a killer who vanished without a trace. Sounds like you've heard this before. In 1922, a family living in the quiet Bavarian countryside was brutally murdered in one of the most disturbing and unsolved crimes in German history. Over a century later, the Hinterkaifeck case remains as chilling as ever, not just because of what happened, but because of what was never explained. Welcome back to my channel, Dark Archive. Stay till the end to know what actually happened there. About 70 kilometers north of Munich, tucked between the towns of Kaifeck and Gruber, stood an isolated homestead known as Hinterkaifeck. It was so remote, you had to walk through a forest path to even reach it. The name Hinterkaifeck wasn't on most maps. It literally meant behind Kaifeck. The farm was home to Andreas Gruber, 63, his wife Cäzilia, 72, their widowed daughter Viktoria Gabriel, 35, and Viktoria's 2 children, 7-year-old Cäzilia and 2-year-old Josef. They lived modestly, avoided the town gossip, and mostly kept to themselves. A new housemaid, Maria Baumgartner, had just started working there. Her first day on the job was March 31st, 1922. Her hiring would unknowingly place her at the center of a gruesome crime scene just hours later. In the days leading up to the murders, unsettling things began to happen. Andreas Gruber told neighbors he had discovered fresh footprints in the snow leading toward the house, but none going back. He also heard footsteps and noises in the attic, even though he found no one inside. A set of keys mysteriously disappeared. Then, an unfamiliar newspaper showed up in their home, one the family insisted they hadn't purchased. Animals became restless at night. Viktoria was seen walking alone in the forest, appearing distressed. The previous maid had quit 6 months earlier, claiming the house felt cursed or haunted. No one paid much attention to these warnings, but when all the pieces are put together now, they form a terrifying picture. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, something truly horrifying took place. It's believed that one by one, the family members were lured out into the barn, possibly by noises or disturbances. There, they were ambushed and murdered with a mattock, a heavy farming tool similar to a pick. Andreas, Cäzilia, Viktoria, and the young girl Cäzilia were all slaughtered in the barn. But what happened after the murders is almost more disturbing. For at least 3 more days, someone remained at Hinterkaifeck. The cows had been fed. The dog was seen roaming the yard. Food had been cooked. Neighbors reported smoke rising from the chimney days after the family had already gone silent. Whoever did this didn't just kill, they lived there afterward. That alone makes the case unlike almost any other. Even stranger thing was, nothing was stolen. Cash and jewelry were untouched. The motive wasn't robbery, this was personal. The bodies weren't discovered until April 4th, when neighbors went to check on the family after missing them at church. What they found was beyond comprehension. A whole household wiped out and the killer gone. Investigators began questioning anyone and everyone. One of the first suspects was Lorenz Schlittenbauer, a neighbor who had once had a relationship with Viktoria. Many believed he was Josef's biological father. But his fellow soldiers had seen him die on the battlefield in France. There were also rumors of incest within the family. Andreas and Viktoria had both been convicted years earlier of an illegal relationship, though Viktoria claimed Josef was not her father's child. Other suspects included local laborers, drifters, and even a serial killer named Paul Muller, who had committed similar axe murders in the US around the same time. But nothing stuck. The truth remained buried. During World War II, the victims' skulls sent to Munich for analysis, but they were lost or destroyed during Allied bombings. That means the last physical evidence was erased. In 2007, German police cadets reinvestigated the case as a cold case exercise. After months of study, they named someone as the most likely suspect. But due to privacy laws, that name remains sealed. All we know is this: They believed the killer was known to the family, and he may have gotten away with it entirely. The Hinterkaifeck farm was torn down in 1923, just a year after the murders. In its place stands a small shrine, a quiet monument to a horror that has never been explained. The case continues to inspire books, documentaries, podcasts, and fictional adaptations. It was featured in the podcast Lore, as well as several German crime specials. Over 100 years later, it still grips the imagination. It's not just the brutality, it's the silence, the careful steps, the missing footprints, the untouched money, and the question that lingers: was it revenge? A twisted love triangle? A secret family feud? Or a drifter who stumbled upon something dark? We may never know. But if history teaches us anything, it's that evil doesn't always come crashing through the door. Sometimes it walks quietly in the snow and stays for dinner. If this story left you cold, hit that subscribe button. We uncover the dark corners of history that others forget. And next time, we'll be exploring another case where silence speaks louder than screams.